Okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit about simple interest, and you're going to have to bear with me because, as you can tell, I'm not talking quite right. When we're talking about simple interest, we need to know that there are two kinds of loans that you can get. One would be a simple interest loan, and one would be a compound interest loan. You always want a simple interest loan because it's going to be cheaper in the long run. In order to get that simple interest loan, you have to keep good credit. You have to make sure that your credit score is staying where it's supposed to be, and make sure that you're paying your bills on time so that it stays that way. So today we're going to talk about the simple interest, and we're going to take a few notes. They have a few things already written for you. It says interest is your I, and that equals the amount of money you paid or earned. So what I want to write over here under my keywords are pay and earn. And I know that this says example or picture, but I just want to use it as kind of a keywords so that you have that information. The principal, P, that is the amount of money invested or borrowed. So when it comes down to it, it is your original amount. It's the amount you start with. Okay, before you do anything else, that's the amount that you're either going to borrow or you're going to loan. Okay, interest rate. That's your R, and it's the annual interest rate expressed as a decimal. Okay, so when we're looking at that, if I'm looking at 15%, remember my decimal always goes at the end, and I have to move it 2 places to the left. So I would move it 1, 2. My new decimal would go here. So 15% would equal 0.15. So every time we do that, we have to turn it to a decimal, figure out where the decimal is. If they don't give it to you, it's at the end. We're going to practice that down here in a minute. And then we're going to move it 2 places to the left. My time. My time is T, and it has to be written in years. So if they were to give me 6 months, I would need to divide that by 12 because there are 12 months in a year. And I would say 6 divided by 12 equals 0.5. So my year in this case would be 0.5 because it's less than a whole year. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, my formula. I equals PRT. This is the equation used to calculate the amount of simple interest paid or earned. So this is our equation. And it is going to give us our interest because the I stands for interest. So this equation is going to give us our interest. It's not going to give us the total amount we paid. It's just going to give us the interest. Now, if we want to know the total amount we paid, we're going to use A equals P plus I. So A stands for the total amount. And then we're going to add the principal plus the interest together to give us our total amount. So our A equals our total amount. Okay? All right, let's look at some decimals. And we are going to convert them into the percents. We're going to convert them to decimals. Okay, to do that, we are going to move twice left. I want you to remember that. We're going to move twice left every time. So for 4.75, I'm going to start with the decimal, and I'm going to move 1, 2. My new decimal goes here. I fill in 1 0. So that looks like 0.0475. When I look at this 10, they don't give me a decimal, so it goes at the end. And then I move it 1, 2 to here. So that looks like 0.10. And you can also write it as 0.1. I don't care. They're the same thing. 6.5, I'm starting here. I'm moving 1, 2. I'm going to put a decimal here. 0 here. So I'm going to say 0.065. Remember, the notes move pretty fast. You can stop them or pause them however you need to. Okay, 12. I'm going to put a decimal at the end. I'm going to move 1, 2. So my new decimal is 0.12. Looking at 12.5, decimal here, 1, 2, put it here, 0.125. I'm going to keep writing, but I want you to go ahead and stop the video for a minute, do the rest, and then come back and see if you have the same answers. When I get to one that looks like this, I know that 7 goes in front because it's the whole number. If I say 1 divided by 2 in my calculator, I get 0.5. So I can now move that decimal 2 places and get 0.075. Okay, 2 you should be able to do with no problems. And then we come to 3 1/4, so we're going to go 3.1 divided by 4 is 0.25. And we're going to say 1, 2. And so my decimal looks like that. Okay, check yours, make sure they match. We're going to move on to years. So we have to convert months into years. We can't have it as months. So every time if they give us months, we're going to divide by 12. Just make sure that they are giving you months and not years, okay? 48 months divided by 12 is 4 years. 9 months divided by 12 is 0.75. 24 months divided by 12 is 2. 30 months divided by 12 is 2.5. 15 months divided by 12, if you put these in your calculator, 1.25. I want you to go try the rest of them, pause the video, then come back and check your answers. Okay, you should have come back and checked the answers. And for 36 months, you would get 3. For 3 months, you would get 0.25. And for 60 months, you would get 5. Okay? Now, I am going to draw some lines in between these. And notice I put them really close to the other side so that I have room over here. That way, we're kind of separating it out. I'm going to find some simple interest. I'm going to take this 7%. And I'm going to change it to a decimal, which is going to make it 0.07. My 2 is already in years. So I have I equals PRT. I need to see this formula every single time. So I equals, my P is 3,000, times my R, which is 0.07, times my years, which is 2. If I throw all that in the calculator, I get $420. So that's what I'm paying in interest. Remember, I said there was another formula. If they ask me the total amount, I have to say A equals P plus I. So A equals, my P is 3,000, plus my I, which is 420, which means if my total would be $3,420. That's what I would pay total for that loan. $420 in interest, $3,420 total. Okay, let's look at the next one. I'm going to change my rate to 0.10. I'm going to change 6 months to 0.5. And I'm going to say I equals PRT. And then we're going to fill in. I equals 500 is my P. My R is 0.10. And my years is 0.5. If I throw all that in the calculator, I get $25. That is my interest paid. To get my total, I would say A equals P plus I. So A equals, my P is 500. Plus my I is 25. So 500 plus 25 is $525. And that is what I would pay for the total loan. Okay, it's not always going to ask you to do both. I'm just showing you how to do it so you have practice at it. Okay? On the next one, we're going to change 5.5 and it's going to be 0.055. We're going to change 36 months to 3 years. And then we're going to fill in I equals PRT. So I equals 10,000 times 0.055 times 3. When you put all that in the calculator, you're going to go $1,650. That is my interest. So again, when I say A equals P plus I, I'm going to say A equals 10,000 plus 1,650, because that is my I. And that is going to leave me with 1,650.00, and that is my total. Okay, I know this moves fast, but I can only spend so many minutes per video, so you can pause, you can go back. If you have questions, you can come see me during tutoring.